well, I wanted to studio, but I had to be on the road, and you know how that goes. So since I'm going to be on the road, I'm going to be covering this UFC 316 main event. How about that, right? UFC 316. You know what they should do with this particular event, right? I think what they should do is have a topic. Yeah, I had to go back to another tab and read what the other topic was. But the other topic, obviously, is Lefty Gunplay getting dissed by Kendrick Lamar. And I think we've got a couple of reasons and a couple of scenarios I can spell out for you guys as to why that happened, right? There's a multitude of reasons. Now, look, I'm not one of these clickbaity channels, although sometimes I do have my moments where I do exactly that, right? Where I just go and pretty much, give some sort of clickbaity type of thing. What's up, my man? Are you heading to work? He's asking me, something like that. You know, I am heading to something like that. You know, obviously I can't really say what I do or where I'm going, but yeah, let's just say that we're out in the field today. So I was originally going to plan on doing this show right in my office, in my home office at my house, but things changed a little bit, so I got to get out in the field and and do the dang thing. Because look, here's the thing, right? Many people who are aspiring YouTubers, they complain a lot about, well, you know what, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. And then there are people that also complain about not having time to work out, right? MMA Guru absolutely complains about this. Well, you know what, I got to stream all day or this and that. And I get that, because if you want to get anywhere in YouTube, you have to stream at a very consistent basis. And as a result of being able to stream at a consistent basis, you got to find time. And sometimes legitimately there are people out there who really don't have the time in the world to do it. But for me, I made the time, right? So you see, whatever it is that I got going on right now, whatever situation I'm in, I'm going to go and get it in, right? And then that's why I kind of came up with this idea, man, why not just put your training sessions in a live stream, and then once you're done with that training session, then just talk about MMA, because nobody is doing that in the YouTube space. So why not try in that particular matter, right? Just do it like that. So which, by the way, kind of resembles a lot about Merab moving up in the rankings all throughout his time moving into the United States. For those of you that don't know anything about Merab, when he came to the United States, he was working a construction job, right? And you're probably wondering, man, you know what? A laborious job like that, where does he find time to train? Well, guess what? His work was his training session. Because think about this, right? You ever heard of farmer's strength? Where farmer's strength comes from? And for those of you that are from the Midwest or from Texas or maybe even parts of rural California where there's farmlands around, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Why is it that these farmers have quote-unquote farmer strength? Well, what it is that they have a consistency of daily habits that really encompass lifting things all day, right? Not so much of a strenuous type of lift where you're doing, let's say, till failure type of sets or anything like that. No, it's just one of these things where you're carrying very heavy things, and over time you start developing a certain set of strength attributes. That very similar to Francis Ngannou, in which he was able to build up his strength over the years working in the mines, right? So that's what Merab did. He incorporated the training and the demands of his job as a construction worker. And then on top of that, you've seen videos of Merab practicing throwing front kicks, breaking down doors and breaking down walls and things of that nature. So really, he managed to help himself become the best MMA fighter in the world, while also doing the job that he needed to do in order to provide his family while trying to reach his dream. And when I see something like that, I think that it's very inspirational and something that I can take some kind of inspiration from, or maybe even some kind of motivation. Like, hey, you know what? If I want to be the best streamer in the world, I have to stream this many amount of times. I have to put up this type of videos. I got to do it in a certain level of quality and a certain level of professionalism. And that's how you get there. So what did Miller here says? Miller here says, farm boy strength is a legitimate thing. Way different than weightlifting strength. Correct. Correct, Miller. That's really what it is, right? Weightlifting strength is a little bit different, and this is the reason why. Because sometimes you have to do it till failure, right? And then to the point where, all right, the next day, you know, you can't, your arms are stiff, your body is stiff, and things of that nature. And then you're like, all right, you got no room to do anything else. With farmer strength, there's a lot of these carries that you do. There's a lot of these things where you carry a bag, you carry, you know, things on your shoulders. So sometimes it's not so strenuous on your arms. You're not out there doing like sets of, let's say, deadlifts or squats, or sometimes there is an element of deadlifts that are in there, which is the reason why they say that deadlifts are some of the most functional strength training that you can do. However, it's also very damaging to the back as well, depending on the type of technique that you do. Speaking of which, hey guys, this is the A's. This is where the A's play right here. I know I show you guys this every time I drive by here, but yeah, this is literally my drive every day. So there's that. But yeah, Marty Miller, farmer boy strength is definitely a real thing, and that is something that Merab has developed. It is something that Francis Ngannou himself has developed. So as a result of that development, this is what you get. You get a formidable athlete that has a good amount of strength, has a good amount of, you know, strength that is highly sustainable all throughout time. Because look, weightlifting strength is one of these things where, you know what, you can maintain it, but then, I mean, you have to maintain it, but then it kind of goes away if you don't do it. With farmer strength, it's a different kind of strength that develops over time because you're doing it in a consistent basis, but also not doing it in a highly strenuous type of basis where you may not be able to work the next day, right? They do enough so that you can do enough the next day in order to complete your task. So Marty Miller says, I baled hay most of my life, and I can say it definitely made me stronger. There you go, my man. There you go. That's why they call it Ohio, you know, Ohio strength, or you know, Ohio strong, as they say, right? I mean, every city in America says Boston strong. I know that's something that they said right after the, what was that? The Boston Marathon bombing. Vegas strong. It's something that they said when there was a terrorist attack that unfortunately happened with that crazy guy that shot up, I believe, a country, it was a country concert. This was like back in 2017. And I remember this because I remember that Las Vegas paid tribute to this particular incident when Tony Ferguson fought Kevin Lee for the interim 155 championship. So, yes, sir, that's right. And then that's another thing, right? Ohio people are strong, right? This is why I say, man, people really, really underestimate Jake Paul, right? The type of strength that this kid has, it came from somewhere, right? You know, he had his dad who was a construction worker, and then his dad before that. So therefore, there's an element of strength that comes with, you know, just that type of environment of construction workers, farmers, and things of that nature. You know, me on the other hand, you know, you know, honestly, I'm a white collar guy. You know what I mean? Every job that I've done ever, other than when I was a teenager, I've done a few lawn mowing jobs and this and that, but not for a long period of time. But all throughout my adulthood, the only strenuous thing that I've ever really done was mixed martial arts or combat sports. But other than that, you know, I'm a certified white collar guy by the of his, but he's a free Ohio. And you know what? There's this boxing community called Ohio Runs Boxing, right? And I sort of understand what they mean by that. There's a lot of good boxers that came out of Ohio. Obviously, there's a lot of good wrestlers that also came out of Ohio. Former fighters such as Kevin Randleman came out of Ohio. So that definitely is a factor to begin with. And speaking of Merab, this is the reason why Merab is the way that he is. This is the reason why Merab is as dangerous as he is. And this is also the reason why he has freakish strength along with a freakish stamina that goes along with it, because of the long, strenuous work schedule that he had as a construction worker, but then also putting in time for training as well. And make no mistake, the training module that Merab gets into is very highly intense, even for the days when he was working as a construction worker. Now, with that said, he's no longer a construction worker, right? And I think this is good right now, where he can now concentrate on just being an athlete. In other words, more emphasis on recovery, right? Because it's good to build that base when you're young, kind of like Francis Ngannou. He worked in the mines all of his life, and then when he became a professional athlete, he didn't have to do that anymore. So now the emphasis has to be recovery, because there's a lot of construction guys out there that have bad backs, guys that have worked in factories that lift heavy things and things of that nature. It's ultimately not good for you in the long run, right? So there has to be a certain there has to be an equal balance in doing that kind of intensity, but for how long? And I think right now, Merab being at his phase of being an athlete and more emphasis on recovery, nutrition, and things of that nature, I think is the quintessential combinations that has led him to become a world champion. Danielle 218 says, O'Malley definitely doesn't deserve it. He didn't get a single win, and the fight wasn't even close at all. Correct. But you know what? Let me ask you this. Why is it that they're giving Yair Rodriguez a shot at Volkanovski, right? Leaving my boy Evloev out high and dry and all that. They are going to have him fight Aaron Pico. And that's so horrible, because why would you want Aaron Pico to come in knowing that he could lose? But you know what? There are people out there that say that Aaron Pico can absolutely win this fight. Now, I don't know about that, right? The only people that I believe who believe that Aaron can win this fight is none other than people that are in Aaron's camp. And why would you not believe that Aaron could win if you are part of his camp? Otherwise, he would just go and fire you up out of the staff, right? I mean, if Aaron was to hire me to fight Evloev, right, as somebody that would be in his training staff at whatever capacity, whether that would be coaching, training partner, or this and that, I mean, I would probably say, you know what, I don't know if you can beat this guy, and the next thing you know, you get fired from being a training partner or a coach and things of that nature, right? But there are coaches out there, believe it or not, that have sort of sent people to fight knowing that they lose. I see it all the time in the regional scenes, right? Here's something that I don't really share with a lot of people, but I've been to a lot of regional fights all throughout the years, and even till this day, right? If Uriah Faber has a fight going on for A1 Combat, I'm there. It's not too far from where I'm at. It's right around the Sacramento area. And even back in the days when I was fighting competitively, those were heavily available, probably more than, let's say, regular UFC fights on a weekly basis. But I think that's what probably killed the regional scenes, was that, people would probably choose to watch these Apex cards more than they would watch, let's say, the regional fights that are going on here. We had hybrid fights out here in Sacramento. We had Muay Thai fights mixed in with MMA fights. So if you talk about ONE FC doing all of that, man, guess what, man? Out here in Sacramento, California, where I represent, guess what? We were one of the first to do that, mix Muay Thai events with MMA events, and the next thing you know, ONE FC is doing it, and so is everybody else. So Marty Miller here says, they should make the Yair versus Lopez fight. For sure. It sells itself. Yeah, man. Because you know what? These two guys revealed to the world, hey, you know what, we got beef going on. This is what's going on. And you know what? Many of you who are not Spanish speakers or maybe don't watch MMA-related podcasts that deal with Spanish languages, maybe you didn't catch this, or maybe they have been saying this for a long time, and us English-speaking audience was not up on it the way that we should have been. Well, now we're up on it because they were in the same stage during a press conference, and they revealed to the world their little dirty laundry that they had going on with each other. And I'm like thinking, wow, man, this is awesome, right? So yeah, definitely Marty Miller. It definitely sells itself. Danielle 218 says, at least he won a fight, and I don't know why Movzar said yes to Pico. That should have been someone like Cater or Giga. Yeah, I agree. Those matchups seem a lot more sound than, let's say, Evloev, right? Because Evloev is up here, man. He's trying to fight for the title. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. What if they're trying to promote Aaron Pico? What if they see analytics regarding Aaron Pico showing how popular he is? What if the UFC sort of dug into analytics of Aaron Pico's fights, right? Where they're like, hey, you know what? When he was fighting for Bellator, this is the type of attention that he had going on. And as a result of that attention that he got, man, you know what? Why not take advantage of this, right? Let's take advantage of the fact that, hey, you know what? This guy is marketable. This guy has it going on. And let's get him to fight Evloev, because Evloev is on his way to getting a title shot. But you know what? We could offset that and change something different, and then just give it to Aaron Pico just with that win, right? That's what they're looking to do. They're looking to find a guy that can come into the UFC and just win the title maybe in their first fight, right? They did that with a Japanese guy against Pantoja. Obviously, we've seen how that turned out, right? They tried to do that with Michael Chandler. Obviously, Michael Chandler had a very successful Abu Dhabi debut against Dan Hooker. He knocked out Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker didn't look like he even had a chance in heck to fight somebody like that. But on any regard, yeah, man, that's what we got going on with these particular situations at hand right now. So I don't like it. You don't like it. There's other fights that they could have made better, but then it makes me question, why is it that they are going with these particular fights and not the fights that the fans are looking for? Because there was a time when the UFC would do fights that everyone wanted to see. Now it just seems like the UFC is becoming a bit of like boxing in a way, right? Okay, let's read some of what's been saying here. Yeah, the California kid, a good coach will save you from yourself. Correct. Daniel 218 says. The California kid was amazing in WEC. He definitely was, man. You know, I got an opportunity to train with him just right before the WEC had got bought out with the UFC, and then I was there for his training session against Eddie Wineland when he went out and fought Eddie Wineland in the same card that John Jones became the youngest light heavyweight champion ever. So Marty Miller says, agreed, Danielle. Watching him in WEC is one of the reasons why I got into MMA. All right, well, that explains a lot, Marty Miller, right? You know, you came to the right place. Obviously, I'm a big advocate for the California kid, Uriah Faber. I'm close with a lot of former and maybe even some current Team Alpha Male guys. I'm from Sacramento, so I think, yeah, I think you and I are in the right place together, my man. So Daniel 218 says, I don't like Movzar's style, but I hope he avoids the left of Pico and grinds out a victory. More than likely that's going to happen. I want to see him versus Lopez or Volk after. That being said, when Pico it's on, he's a super well-rounded. So when Pico is on, yeah, he is very much extremely well-rounded. Daniel 218 says, new UFC lays out the red carpet for outsiders, and old UFC would make a statement on outside fighters to show UFC is top tier. All right, yeah, that's what I think they're trying to do. That is a very good point. Now, I don't know why they didn't do that with Michael Chandler. Or actually, you know what? I thought they would have probably thought that Dan Hooker would have probably done him in, right? Dan Hooker is quite tall. He's got the range. He trains with Izzy. So there was a good chance that he may have been able to beat Michael Chandler. And plus, you know what? It's UFC level by the end of the day. You know, so Marty Miller says, yeah, that's kind of true, Danielle. Yeah, exactly. That is absolutely true. There's no doubt about that, right? There's no doubting that. The UFC wants to show their supremacy to the world. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that. When Luke Rockhold came in from Strikeforce, when Daniel Cormier came in from Strikeforce, who else came from Strikeforce that was a top contender and a champion? Obviously, well, Gilbert Melendez, not really a top UFC 155er when he crossed over. Souza, if you guys remember Jacare Souza, he was quite up there when he came into the UFC. Who else? Who else was top tier in Strikeforce? Well, we can go into the WEC. There was a lot of top tier guys. Obviously, Anthony Pettis, Ben Henderson, probably one of the best UFC 155ers of all time. Nate Marquardt, there you go. There you go, Daniel. Thanks for the assist right there. Danielle says, feed Chandler back to Hooker for redemption to retire Chandler. So in other words, the way that he started his UFC ended in that way with Dan Hooker, right? Makes sense, but who knows, maybe Dan Hooker would do him in at this point, right? Marty Miller says, who was MVP's first UFC fight? Kevin Holland, it was, yeah. Rockhold, okay, Cerrone came from the WEC, correct? So it's not always the UFC that builds the best guys in the world all the time, right? Although there was one time where Douglas Lima, or I think his brother, also came into the Ultimate Fighter, and then there was this guy in the Ultimate Fighter show that basically just grinded him to a 2-round decision, right? Because you know how it's 2 rounds in the Ultimate Fighter, and you know, and that's really about it, right? Just 2 rounds, and then there's nothing more, nothing less after that. But with that in mind, the other topic that I'm going to talk about, obviously the other topic in mind sort of deals with, let's say, what is that guy's name? Lefty Gunplay. If you guys know anything about Kendrick Lamar, obviously Kendrick Lamar had a concert out in LA. There's this guy named Lefty Gunplay, right? He's a Sureño essay rapper. Has a lot of controversies going on, being that he's sort of what you would consider, you know, a crystal head, right? He takes crystal, which is weird because in Mexican gangs, in gangs period, you know, they sort of punish you for something like that, right? And then I was like, you know what? This was a great opportunity for this guy to get a shot at being in a Kendrick Lamar album after Kendrick Lamar was hot coming off the Drake beef, right? But lo and behold, what happens as a result of that? What happened is that he probably went in the studio. Kendrick Lamar was like, man, you know what? This guy's not very professional. Because I can tell you, the one thing I know about Kendrick Lamar, that guy is a consummate professional, right? I think that he has GSP, Kobe Bryant, and Khabib work ethic in his rap craft, right? What he does with his music, he is that. And so here's this guy who's undisciplined, very similar to that of John Jones, very similar to that of many fighters that we know. And he gave him 4 lines. Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. So he goes to the concert. He tries to rush up to the stage. Security backs him off while Kendrick was rapping his line, which is crazy, right? But that's the other topic that we talked about. I guess I kind of wanted to touch on that briefly, but there it is. That was the way that I was going to touch on that topic. Now, the other topic that I wanted to touch on is Suge Knight going after his friend who was a former cop, but was also the head of the security of Death Row Records. Now, that's something a lot of you don't know about Death Row Records, right? They had a lot of people that were cops working for them, right? That's why they had the Rampart scandal going on. In fact, the reason why Compton PD right now doesn't have the police department, they have a sheriff's department, was because Suge Knight ran the Compton Police Department to the point where it literally became a haven for corruption. And as a result of the haven of corruption that they managed to bring upon themselves, they shut down that whole police station and converted it into a sheriff's police station. And now Suge Knight is sharing secrets about Reggie Wright. Now, I don't know much about that. I saw a video on it. I figured I was going to talk about it briefly. But if I don't talk about it extensively in this live stream, I may just do a separate video on it. But for now, the main topic at hand is not Donald Cerrone, Merab, his coach, saying that Sean O'Malley doesn't deserve this fight, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to debate whether he does or he doesn't. I will be right back. I need to handle some of my candle right now, and we will continue on the live stream. Stay tuned, okay? All right, so we're back. So, let's see. I just got to take the glasses off so I can read these properly. Miller says, O'Malley only claims to the rematch would be that he was able to defend it once against Cheeto. Okay, that is a viable argument. He definitely doesn't deserve it based on his fight against Merab. Correct. Look, a fight that is literally one-sided. How do you justify a one-sided fight, right? How do you justify something like that? You know, like how is that justifiable in any kind of capacity? It's not at all. There's nothing that is man, there's nothing that justifies that other than the fact that Sean O'Malley is nothing more than a cash cow, right? That's really all he is. He's a cash cow. I mean, Sean O'Malley has his wild hair. He did a bid where Tekashi 6ix9ine tattooed him, which is kind of weird, right? Like him getting into it with Tekashi 6ix9ine. I mean, it's not really a good image to have, especially if you're tapped into the hip hop culture, right? But what Sean O'Malley has going for him in terms of allowing it to be okay for him to sort of side with Tekashi 6ix9ine is only because of the fact that, well, you know what, Tekashi 6ix9ine is, how do I say this? I mean, I'm sorry, not Tekashi 6ix9ine. Sean O'Malley is a civilian. He's not a gangster. He's not about that life or anything like that. So in a way, it's sort of okay for him to, it's sort of okay for him to delve with people like that, right? But at the same time, man, it's not highly recommended. It's not something I would recommend just based on, you know, having bad PR and, you know, and not having a good image about yourself based on that. Miller says he's getting it based off popularity. Correct. And Sean O'Malley is a very popular guy. Look, guys my age, if you're my age, right? You're 40 years old and you've been a long time MMA fan, or you've been training for a long time, or a little bit of both. Sean O'Malley is not your kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? You grew up in the GSP era, the Nate Marquardt era, as we had mentioned, the Donald Cerrone era, the Anthony Pettis era. It was a completely different era with that of GSP and when Cain Velasquez was champion. Completely different era. So as such, we're dealing with a completely different animal. Okay? A completely different animal. We're living in a world of social media, likes, people that are in TikTok, people that are in Kick, people that do streams, people like Vitaly, people like Jack Dorothy, all these characters, right? They are all synonymous with Sean O'Malley. And Marty Miller says, 100%, I'm not a fan of the UFC turning into the WWE. And here's the thing. They are owned by TKO, and TKO is owned by who? None other than WWE. It's a WWE product by the end of the day, right? The fact that it's a WWE product honestly shows that, hey, you know what? This is what you have going on in this kind of product, in this kind of deal. So, yeah, man, you know what? It's not necessarily the best choice for the WWE in terms of keeping their older fans, but that's the reality that we have with this with this situation right now. So everybody on the live stream right now, on the chats, hit the like and subscribe button, because we are about to continue and go on for another 20 minutes to talk about why he doesn't deserve this title shot, and also talk about some past, recent, historical fights that a contender didn't deserve the championship opportunity. Like Colby Covington. When Colby fought Leon Edwards, he deserved that? No. But you know what? You can't lie. Colby Covington made it fun, even though it was very distasteful, where he basically told Leon Edwards that his dad is burning in hell, right? I mean, that right there is cold-blooded. That is a cold-blooded statement to make, man. But you know what? It is what it is. And Colby Covington was put there for a reason. And the reason why Colby Covington was put there for a reason is because he knows how to sell, he knows how to entertain. And not only that, he brought it. He brought it. Well, not in the fight, but he brought it in terms of the fan base. And then he even brought Donald Trump out. Now, you got to look at how Donald Trump looked during that fight. He looked so upset. He was so upset, right? He's sitting at cage side like this, right? With that little facial expression that Donald Trump usually does, right? He was not happy with the result. I mean, he got dragged out of his golf course, and at the time, he wasn't even president yet. Obviously, he was a former president at that point, right? He wasn't in his second term yet. Man, he looked upset. He's like, man, I got out of my tanning session in Florida to see this guy. Can't remember them being this sweaty. Jorg Player says, can't remember them being this sweaty. What do you mean by that, Jorg? Let me know what you mean by that specifically by that comment. But on any regard, yeah, man, very strange occurrence. Here's another title fight that was not deserving. Moicano was another one. He obviously didn't deserve it, but it was just due to the circumstances that was being dealt with in that situation. The other part of it was, what was the other part where another one got a title shot but didn't deserve it? Al-Iaquinta. Al-Iaquinta didn't deserve a shot. There's a lot of guys that don't deserve a shot, man. But you know what? Sometimes they are there, they are available, and they are the guy that's willing to stand up and say, hey, I'm here, or at least the guy that can bring pay-per-view numbers. Now, look, right now, maybe the reason why Evloev did not get a title shot is because they just felt like it wasn't going to be a big money fight for Volk. And plus, they didn't want Volk to lose to a guy that is unmarketable yet. Now, here's the thing. If he beats Aaron Pico, and it's right, a lot of what you guys said about the UFC trying to flex its supremacy to other organizations, especially if other organizations built this guy. And you got to admit, these organizations built Aaron Pico. They built Aaron Pico. Am I right or wrong about that? Did they not build Aaron Pico? Yes or no? They built Aaron Pico. Think about it. It was like they gave him easy matchups early on. Some of it was a failure. Some of it wasn't. And then on the other side of that, yeah, man, it wasn't good, man. It wasn't good at all. So, okay, Jorg Pollard says, they are so sweaty, dude. It feels like Diddy oiled them up. Who is this you are talking about right now? By the way, guys, just please excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna get my my tires checked right now, so don't mind me if I have, you know, a little bit of some side conversations here with somebody. But yeah, I'm in line right now to do a little tire check. But yeah, on any regard, that's what you got to do, man. If you want to be the #1 MMA streamer in the world, you got to stream whenever you can. You got to put out videos. And even if I have to bring you guys along with me for the ride and whatever it is that I do. Growing up, I had a lot of homies that was, you know, doing whatever it is that they wanted to do. They wanted to stay in touch with the hood. They wanted to stay in touch with everybody that was in the neighborhood and this and that. And sometimes the way that they did it was they would bring the little homies with them to whatever errands it is that they were running, right? And you could think of multitudes of, you know, scenarios of what I'm talking about. But yeah, on any regard, yeah, so just don't mind me if I'm, you know, handling, you know, trying to handle my candle, you know, out here while talking some MMA with you guys. The other one that didn't deserve a title shot. How about Nate Diaz? No, I'm sorry, not Nate Diaz. Nick Diaz. How about Nick Diaz, right? He lost to Carlos Condit, but because GSP wanted to fight him so bad, they gave him a title shot. He's some young guy. Uzma says. Okay, hold on just a second. Hey, how you doing, my man?
How's it going?
Good, good. Just trying to check my tires. It looks like my low pressure tires is on. I just wanted to make sure like there was, you know, no holes in it or anything like that, or you know, or yeah, you know, just or see if maybe like, you know, the pressure is probably like off in, you know, its numbers. So
yeah, do a full inspection, just make sure things are yeah. So can I see the tag?
Yeah, sure.
Make sure we get the right amount here. 33, okay. And they normally recommend a couple extra pounds on there.
What was that?
They normally recommend a couple extra pounds from what the tag says, just helps even everything out a little better. The tag normally says 33, we recommend about, I'd say 35.
Okay.
That way, with the weather, it'll just kind of stay where it needs to be rather than dropping too low.
Sure, sure, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll get this all taken care of, and then if it's okay with you, if I have you have the car in park and turn it off.
Sure, yeah.
That way it doesn't mess up the sensor. Okay.
Yeah, sure, no problem. All right, so what did my man here say? He said, why did Annex... I mean, I you know what, man? Uzma, Asuma. Is that how you say your name? Asuma. Asuma. Do you know a Chinese fighter named Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're getting a little bit of onto the you know, racial side here or this and that, and then he says Asuma here says, why did it sound so zesty? How do you figure somebody is a zest or this and that, right? How do you come up with that assumption, right? Like, you know, here's the thing, right? I don't like these types of dudes that just, you know, come up with anything to say anything that's not racial, brother. I mean, it is. It is. Like, come on. Think about it. Think about it. It is racial. I mean, you know, like, why would you, like, come on. Something wrong? Like, when it sounds, I feel like crotch is, okay, that's too much information right there. How is it racial? Look, listen, you're really going to ask that? How is that? You know, how is that a thing? Like, come on, bro. I mean, it's a weird thing for you to say something like that. Think about it. Think about it. You know, somebody that just sounds, you know, normal, sounds like, you know, your everyday, you know, guy, and then all of a sudden do you know, I don't know what it is, Asuma. I mean, obviously, you're, you know, you're just a person that's commenting online on a live stream. I wouldn't know you from a can of paint. So do you know, yeah, so tell me, I mean, just let me know, my man, you know what I mean? We're here to, you know, engage with each other. So, you know, you're more than welcome to tell me, you know, some information on who you are. Marty Miller says, yeah, let's talk MMA for sure. Roast his behind, Kyrie. Toxic gameplays. Shout out to Toxic Gameplays in the house right there. Nah, you know, we don't gotta do all that, you know what I mean? Because, you know what, like, I tell you what, maybe if I was younger, maybe, just maybe, I would have, you know, the, yeah, man, that's right, George, Palver, yeah, tell, Uzma, man, but Uzma, in any regard, I'm sure you're a nice person, but, you know, it's not cool to, do that, you know what I mean? Uzma, stop the racism, George says, yeah, man, shout out to my man, George, for that, you know what I mean? Like, he's absolutely right about that, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be saying, stuff like that, though, my man, you know what I mean? It's not good, so... How is it racist, though? Well, how is it not? You're talking about, hey, do you know some Chinese UFC fighter, something Wong? Like, there's no fighter in the roster with that name. And you know that. And then you bring that up. It's a joke. I understand. I mean, it's just full, it's just banter as well. It's all good. Hold on a second.
Pressures are all good.
Okay.
As far as tire treads, they're still scanning in the green at 5 and 6/30 seconds.
Okay.
They are getting a little on that lower side.
Which side? The
so
top
the front
or?
ones are the worst ones.
Okay.
Those ones are mostly 5s in the middle, starting to hit like a 4.5 on the sides.
Okay.
And the back ones are mostly a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But no puncture or
no
nothing
punctures,
like that?
Just
Okay.
treads starting to get a little low on the front, so we'll get those swapped out here pretty soon.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. All right, let's see what the chat here says. Uzma, Asuma is so racist, it's disgusting. And then he says it's a joke. He says, you think Dana would get mad if I said that joke? Yeah, he would absolutely fire on you for a joke like that. You know what I mean? Like, let's say if you worked for UFC media or something like that, or if, let's say, you got a press pass, he would absolutely take that from you. Because remember, you know, Floyd said something racist about Asians as well. Right? Floyd Mayweather said something to Manny Pacquiao saying, hey, you know, why don't you cook me some, sushi or this and that or whatever. And then, he called him a racist for that. He also called Floyd a racist for going after Jeremy Lin. You guys remember Jeremy Lin, right? Shout outs to the New York Knicks, by the way. I don't really follow basketball like that other than the Sacramento Kings. By the way, an organization that I have strong familiarity with. But yeah, on any regard, yeah, man, Jeremy Lin was, I believe, a Chinese basketball player that had a lot of hype behind him. And as such, yeah. Okay, so Dana would slap you like his wife. Oh, man, Jordan. Oh, man, listen, obviously that's not a diss on Asuma in any kind of way. Right? But yeah, it's more of like a dig at Dana White. You know what I mean? Like you're digging at Dana White's little mishaps that he's had going on right there. Toxic Gameplay says, the weirdos are out today. Summer vacation is now, I think, for the kids. Yeah, I think that explains it, right? There will be a lot of kids that are going to be home. But that's all right for me. If they want to come watch my live stream, it's no problem. Because I would consider myself a pretty family-friendly stream. Especially for a guy with my background, a guy that knows the kind of people that I know, on top of the fact that, I know a lot of guys that are very politically incorrect. I'm actually a pretty politically correct person. Like, I rarely curse, other than if I have to read someone's comments or have to quote someone. But other than that, I sort of bleep and censor myself in that regard, right? So, let's see, what else did we have here? Uzma says, really? Wow. You know who I got the joke from? Where did you... I mean, that's a pretty classic joke, isn't it? I got the joke from Rampage Jackson. Well, there you go, right? I also Stipe and that joke. Stipe wrote that joke. Dana and Diddy are brothers in oil. Oh, my goodness. Marty Miller says, how crazy that Dana slap incident happened right as he was going to start a slap fight. Yeah, man, you know what? That's a very good point there, Marty Miller, right? That was just literally one of those things that came out of nowhere. Like, just like that, all of a sudden, they have this going on and this and that, and it's like, wow. It was like the universe telling you, you know what, maybe this isn't a good idea. And I don't know, maybe slap fight is a good idea in terms of social media numbers, but I don't know if it's something that's transferable to mainstream TV, maybe even pay-per-views or anything like that. I just think that slap fighting, when Dana White says that it's good for social media. By the way, one of my rapper homies from the Bay Area, A1, check him out, right? A1 is one of my rapper homies that is affiliated with a Bay Area legend, Jacko, right? He's got a homeboy that's in slap fighting. I believe I got a video of me and A1 on this channel. Go check it out. Where I think it's titled Devin Haney pulled up in London, and then A1 was there. His uncle was there, who was also a friend of what's his name? Bill Haney, right? So he was telling me about his buddy who was a slap fighter, and I was like, yeah, and we kind of discussed slap fighting in that one right there. You must not like Bryce Mitchell then. Listen, Suma, do you honestly think that I hate Bryce Mitchell? Let me explain something to you, right? I'm an Arab guy, right? I'm an Arab guy. Do you honestly think that an Arab guy who's a Muslim hates Bryce Mitchell? And I'm not even going to answer that, because that answer could go one way or the other. I'm just going to let you figure that one out. Okay? Brother, you follow MMA and UFC like the epitome of being politically incorrect. Correct. I'm also very politically incorrect as well when it comes to certain topics, right? But not in, I mean, I'm not rude, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Like, I don't like going after people's race or religion or anything like that. And, all right, you know what? Let's talk about something that is politically incorrect, all right? I'm going to talk to you guys about something that's politically incorrect. How about this? There was a point in my life where I didn't like anybody that wasn't Muslim. Could you believe that about myself? Could you believe that? There was a point in my life where I didn't like anybody who wasn't Muslim, right? I didn't like anybody that was, you know, not of a certain denomination. And then there was a certain point in my life where I didn't like anybody because they came from certain places. And if you're from California, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. So there was a point in my life where I was like that. But then I got older. I got in college, and you're probably thinking, yeah, you went to college and then you got indoctrinated by the liberal, the liberal machine and whatnot, right? Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't. But I'm not a liberal by any stretch of the imagination, so I think we would have to scratch that. But I did gain different experiences after I started getting into different jobs, different careers, and different different people that I've trained with all over MMA. So my man says, peace to the Middle East. Uzma says, I am Christian and I love you, brother. Oh, man. Well, thank you, man. I love you as well, bro. I got love for you as well. I know that I know that you mean well. I'm not here to shame you in any kind of way other than just the fact that, we're just having a good banter, a good conversation. And you know what? And I think that's really what it is, right? Look, here's something that I think is really important and worth noting, right? I think there is a culture in which we are, heavily much invested into canceling people, right? All of a sudden, like, think of it like this, Asuma, right? I don't know who you are. I don't know what your face looks like. I don't know where you're from. You told me you're Christian. Okay, that's one thing that I know about you. But if somebody knew who you were and they saw what you said, there's people out there that would try to, take your job from you, right? They would call your job and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to get you fired or this and that. I see a lot of UK people do that, right? Every time they get into it with somebody in a train station and this and that, I would often see them in videos where they say, who is your employer? Who is your employer? Like as if they really want to take and overpower those people in a way where, you know what, man, I want to get you in trouble for this, and I want to hit you where it hurts the most, so I'm going to hit you in your pockets and this and that. Yeah, man, I don't know if that's necessarily, all that good. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would agree with that, cold-heartedly. But on any event, yeah, let's see here. I kind of look like you. I apologize for being rude. It's all good. He says, I kind of look like you. When you mean you look like me, do you mean that you are part Middle Eastern and half a Pacific Islander, or one of those specific, ethnic groups? Or do you mean that you look like me because, you're of a different ethnicity, but something similar, or, but let me know on the comment section below. Fresh Melon Juice says, Joe Rogan was the first woke Karen who started the cancel competition. Is that right? Asuma says, very similar. Okay, well, I tell you what, I got a nice beard like yours. All right, well, shout outs to you, my man. So, okay, guys, a little quick intermission, okay? You know how it is. You know the vibes. I take you guys with me in whatever it is that I do. Obviously, I was planning on doing this live stream in the office, but, that's not going to be the... that's not going to be what's up today. So what I will do is, well, let me just leave this right here for a little intermission. I'll be right back in a jiffy, okay? So stay tuned. Talk amongst yourselves in the chat. And yeah, and then just wait for me, okay? Give me about 5 minutes, 5-minute intermission. I'll be right back. Talk amongst each other in the chat. Be Fairchild says Merab is going to finish Sugar Sean. Okay. All right, awesome. I'll see you guys in a second, okay? Hold on just a second for me. All right, guys, I am back. I am back, and back with a fresh. Here we go. All right, so what did we get here? Yeah, similar beard. I got a beard like yours. Merab is going in heavyweight. Okay. Fresh Melon just says, our dreams are considered a form of spiritual communication or divine right. Is it a spiritual communication or divine? You know what? I think it may be a little bit of both, man. It may be a little bit of both. Fresh Melon Juice says, didn't he say he'd be back in 5 minutes? Yeah. Fresh Melon Juice says maybe he OD'd. I hope he's all right. All right. Well, thank you guys for your concern. No, I'm definitely okay. I just, you know, got a little, you know, nice fresh cut. You know, you know what? I should have brought it. I should have brought the phone with me, you know, or whatever. But I don't know, man. You know, I don't know how some barbers are. You know what I mean? I don't know if they want to have, you know, their type of conversations that they have to, you know, sort of, you know, be in the forefront of, you know, of what's going on. I don't know if that's something that, you know, people would feel comfortable with, is what I'm saying, right? So, but on any regard, yeah, man, that's not something most people would be, you know, necessarily comfortable with. But on any regard, here we are. So, okay. Yeah, so we're back at it once again. So, okay, man, yeah, Merab is going to fight Sean O'Malley, and ultimately that is all predicated on the reality of the fact that it is a money fight for him. So, just a second here. Settings, I'm just setting up my settings right here. All right. So, shout outs to everyone that was looking out for me. In the meantime, he says, I hope he didn't OD. What is that? I hope maybe he OD. OD? What? I mean, I'm not a drug guy in any kind of way. I'm not really into drugs, so I don't know how that's a reality in any kind of way. But on any event, man, shout out to everybody that was you know, looking out for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Let me get this right here real quick. All right, so had to get that seat belt going real quick. But shout outs to the ones that were, you know, patiently waiting up in here. You know, really appreciate that with you guys. You know, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a Sacramento drive right now. So let me see here. I'm going to show you guys some little driving thing that I'm doing right now. It's a little driving tour of Sacramento.